Self-care.
Look in and you will see yourself as you are and as you wish to be. You at your best.
It doesn't take long to notice the endless number of products, commercials, and advertisements, all to make you feel like you just need to relax and treat yourself. Bath bombs, face masks, Hawaii. All of this has become so synonymous with what we call self-care, but really, it just means that you should feel more stressed about your life and lack of sleep, all because these companies want you to spend lavishly, all for the sake of consumerism and hyper-consumption. So today, we're talking about self-care, what it really means, how it's been twisted into something entirely different, and what it means for our wallet. And we'll look into if we really need all these products just to find some peace, health, and self-confidence. So let's dive into why we even feel the need to buy all these products. So first of all, if self-care isn't all these products, then what exactly is self-care? Self-care is defined as the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. And to be fair, the concept and idea of using products for the sake of self-care goes back to even ancient Egypt, with Cleopatra bathing in donkey milk to maintain her beauty. The same can be said for ancient Rome bathhouses or even fire cupping, which dates back to China over 2,000 years ago. But nowadays, it's different. There's always been a degree of commercialization to self-care products, but right now it feels different, more extreme, and just more in your face. There are more products, more trends, and more media. And the world is just smaller, and media is pushing us even further away from self-care to a more commercialized version of it. And that's where so many of us get sucked into a world of false self-care. And why is the first impulse for so many of us to just buy something, when really we just need to take a breath? Well, nowadays, where we create that false connection is through influencers and celebrities. And to be fair, it's nothing really new. It's just a more modern version of a marketing tactic or someone you admire or aspire to be like, whether it be for their personality, lifestyle, or appearance. And you associate that to self-care, that in order to take care of yourself, you need to be just like them. You need $15 green juices, designer loungewear, and spa treatments. The product that they're pushing down your throat is exactly what you need and the answer to your problems. And without this messaging, it implies without purchasing these products or experiences that you cannot truly take care of yourself. Buy this face mask, this yoga mat, subscription box, and you can achieve peace, balance, and happiness. And it's not just about having smoother skin or less wrinkles, it's also now about these subconscious problems like being more calm, finding peace, and more joy in your life. And it's so easy for us to watch a celebrity or influencer or even friends and family online and equate what we see and products being used to happiness and a better life. A survey by Credit Karma found that nearly 70% of Americans admitted to emotional spending in buying things to improve their mood, with self-care purchases like beauty products, spa services, and leisure experiences topping the list. But the reality is, the wellness market is doing extremely well, but we are not. Because today, wellness and self-care have become words that we probably hear every single day. And the market for it has skyrocketed. Last year, the wellness market was valued at $6.8 trillion. But self-care is no longer about taking bubble baths or drinking raw juices or tracking your daily steps. It's turned into an all-encompassing tactic that marketers and advertisers use to persuade and convince us to purchase all sorts of junk that we don't need but we supposedly deserve. You've probably heard the phrase treat yourself, and well, a lot of people are treating themselves. We're urged to treat ourselves to clothing hauls, indulge in food, splurge on this new car, and really consumption as a whole has become an act of self-care. And it's really pushing Gen Zers and Millennials who are exposed to advertisements even more so thanks to social platforms like TikTok or Instagram where even regular videos are ads. And if you look on Instagram, there are over 30 million posts using the hashtag self-care, with a lot of content promoting products or services. And if anything, self-care has turned into a marketing goldmine, pushing consumption rather than actual wellness. And the irony is that even with this wellness boom, many of us aren't well. People are overworked, overwhelmed, people of all ages have increased level of stress, loneliness, anxiety, and burnout. And coupled with student loan debt and burnout culture, people have turned more to skincare, food, and alcohol, all for the sake of self-care. Very much so because companies are eager to profit on people's stress, fatigue, and lack of confidence. And we try to solve our problems with trendier clothes, fancier gadgets, fill our drawers with things, and high-tech beauty tools. But the thing is, it doesn't work. We just fall back into our hollow selves. We fall into this big cycle that is supposedly self-care. While a bath bomb and some $500 self-care kits might be restorative in the short term, they don't really solve or address the bigger problems in our lives. And because of these companies pushing this new twisted commercialized version of self-care, along with high cost of living and everyday items, so many people get trapped in this vicious cycle. For example, where companies market self-care products, say this special formula that prevents fine lines that are caused by a stressful life. Therefore, people buy the lotion, lather themselves in it, and feel at peace for a short period of time. But once the anxiety, exhaustion, and stress comes back again, the routine begins once again. Buy new eyeshadow, a new concealer, or a vacation to feel the need of self-care, which never seems to get better. And it's because buying things doesn't solve all our problems. And when our problems aren't solved, we move on to another lotion, a fancy resort, or a more luxurious purse because the first one didn't work out and make us feel completely better. And we buy and buy some more. We self-care harder and masquerade consumerism as something that we can hope can fix something in our lives. And it was found that on average, people spend about $6,000 per year on self-care and wellness. And for a lot of people, it's easier to reach for a quick fix instead of questioning commercials and consumer norms. And to be clear, self-care isn't bad, selfish, or unreasonable things. I think in a world where so much is out of our control, cost of groceries, gas, outrageous rent, war and politics, it's very natural to seek out ways to feel in control of our own lives. If you can't control what's happening at work, or maybe even some family matter, but what you can control is some expensive yoga. And that might be enough to make you feel better and subside your anxiety for a bit and give you a sense of control over your own life. But the problem is, what companies and mainstream media sell us today is something that's more materialistic and narcissistic. And more importantly, it's fleeting and just temporary. And these commercials and advertisements trick us into thinking that a product is the answer to your problems, when in reality, it's actually just an accessory that you don't even need to get the exact same results. And sure, having a bubble bath or putting on a nice sheet mask every now and then is nice. And there's nothing wrong with trying to have better skin, needing a massage, or protecting your skin from the sun. But for a lot of us, there is this line of needing and wanting. And a lot of what we buy starts falling into that overconsumption category. And the thing is, a bubble bath can only do so much. Self-care should be seen more as just something with a price tag. On the most basic level, it's lingering, recharging, relaxing, doing nothing, and now we're just adding a price tag to it. But what it should be is prioritizing your physical and mental health. Maintaining a fulfilling lifestyle doesn't require things, and it's really just what you really value. And what we can do is try to stop defining ourselves through mindless consumerism. And before we go on, if you're enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It'll help with the algorithm and the channel. Thank you very much for watching. People feel pressure to spend money that they might not have at all for the sake of mental health and wellness. And it's not uncommon to see people who are already stressed by student loans, high rent, and stagnant wages spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars annually on self-care products and experiences. And it might not seem much at first. A $20 candle or a $30 bath bomb might seem harmless, but they add up. Especially when that relief is short-lived and you just resort to another scent or a different branded candle because the first one didn't work. It becomes even harder for people to balance managing their financial anxiety, which is now just added stress on top of their actual mental anxiety. And this money that's spent on candles and bath bombs can be instead put towards paying off your student loans, building your emergency fund, or a down payment on a car or even a house. And what this all really boils down to is that taking care of yourself is absolutely key. You should always take care of yourself first before any supposed self-care company, celebrity, or influencer. And hyperconsumption is not the only way to reach a better life. And a good way to do it is having a good relationship with your money instead of these products. Where instead, self-care actually means having control over your spending. How much is going towards what we actually need versus what we want, while saving for the future is a way to look out for ourselves. If the goal of self-care is to make a happier and healthier life, then financial stability should be a part of that goal. It means saving money, sticking to a budget, investing for the future, and learning financial literacy are some of the most important things you can do to achieve self-care. And building an emergency fund can provide peace of mind much more so than any luxury skin routine. And paying down your debt can reduce stress much more so than any weekend away at a luxury spa. And approaching minimalism is a great way to tackle mindless spending. A lot of times, minimalism is mistaken for being frugal and just depriving yourself of absolutely everything and anything. But instead, it's more about just focusing on what really brings you value and joy in your life. Whether it be traveling or spending more time around family and only buying things that add value in your life, instead of adding extra stress to our lives by getting lost in a pile of excess self-care products we don't really need. And when we can, just linger. Give ourselves a break, go for a walk, meet up with a friend, or sit down and do nothing. And oftentimes, it's the more difficult things that we don't want to do to achieve the actual self-care. It's exercising, saving money, eating healthy, and learning new skills. All of these things will actually make your life better and more fulfilled. And of course, in the same notion, be careful, because companies will try to sell you something here as well. Some new yoga pants because without them you can't exercise, or the latest shoe because without them you can't go outside to meet with your friends. But again, all this takes actual time and effort, and it's not something that you can just buy and mimic from someone on a commercial. And it won't solve inflation or all our other economic or social problems in the world, but it helps us improve what we can control over our own lives. Taking care of yourself should be a long-run endeavor, instead of just buying these bath bombs that will make us feel better for about 15 minutes. To wrap this up, self-care is essential. Take care of yourself, but it shouldn't be confused with consumerism dressed in wellness. And commercialization of self-care encourages people to spend, and really it just traps them in a cycle of both financial and mental stress and anxiety. And real self-care is about taking care of your mind, body, and your future, which also includes smart financial decisions. If you made it to the end, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and let me know what you think about all of this with this new trendy commercialized version of self-care. Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoy videos like this and want more, please make sure to like and subscribe so it helps with the algorithm. I think you'll really like the next video about parasocial relationships and this world where influencers and celebrities use their social status to push products into our faces. So check out how and why there are more commercials and ads with your favorite celebrities and influencers, all encouraging you to just buy.